final was held between Argentina and Holland. Tonight, of course, an all-South American occasion. It's Uruguay against Chile, and the man in your picture there is a busy chap these days. The referee Romualdo Arpi Filho from Brazil also took charge of the semi-final game between Chile and Colombia. He's recognised as the leading South American official. A very pensive-looking Chilean coach there, I must say, Orlando Aravena. But this is all new territory, of course, for these Chilean players. They've not reached the America Cup final since 1975. A very different record, of course, to Uruguay, who've actually won the America Cup 8 times. Identification always important for you, and Uruguay are in the light blue strip with the black shorts. Chile playing in their familiar red shirts and blue shorts and attacking the goal away to our left. Both sides unchanged from their semi-final lineups. This is the Chilean left back, although he wears 4, Jomathabal and Francescoli, flipping the ball across, and an early raid here by Uruguay. Couldn't find Ruben Sosa, and Reis manages to work that ball away. Now this is Contreras. Interesting character, Contreras. He's the playmaker in the Chilean side, and he does some very good things, but from time to time, I must say, he does some pretty poor things as well, and that was not one of his better passes. And Francescoli losing the ball there, and in not very good position, but again, I think that was a very nervous touch, first touch there by Letelier, the Chilean number 9. He'd no support whatsoever, and all he could succeed in doing was simply pump the ball forward to the Uruguayan goalkeeper. But now, that was number 7, Ivo Basay, top goal scorer in Chilean football, season before last, who was injured in the last game against Colombia, but and carried off on a stretcher, by the way, but he's obviously fit again. And the first free kick that Chile have won is won by Oscar Reis, the right back from Cobresal. So early encouragement here for Chile. A few of their supporters will have made their way across from the Andes. Free kick taken by Pizarro. Easily away though, Alzamendi under that, and so was the colourful figure of Fernando Astengo. He's the one with the long flowing locks at the back. And there's another with long flowing locks. Showing for you the Uruguayan goalkeeper Eduardo Pereira, who's just rolled it out to Gutierrez. Good crunching tackle from Jomathabal. Always nervous, the early minutes, of course, of any game, let alone a cup final. Good running by Francescoli. Throw-in taken by Dominguez. And, vigorous in that challenge, which is why the ball is being placed for the free kick. Arpi Filho is a very firm sort of referee who likes to get on top of the job early. And this is one of those occasions where I'm sure he's going to be employing a lot of whistle. Pablo Bengochea just lining things up. And that one's going to drift a long way. Oh, and it was poor goalkeeping, I must say, there by Rojas. He went for the ball and never quite got there, and caused a bit of a flap back at back in his defence. And there we see it, and it was as well that Reis was there on his line. Don Howe, I don't think you'd be too impressed by the first sight of Roberto Rojas there.
No, not really. I would think that would encourage Uruguay to get those crosses in. I mean, he was a mile away from it. He was well beyond him on that far post. Luckily, the two defenders had got back in behind him to guard the goal line for him.
This the 26th America Cup final. All 10 countries in the South American Confederation have been taking part this time. And I suppose the real shock to the system for everybody in Buenos Aires, the fact that Argentina aren't playing in this final. But it's Uruguay against Chile, and Chile on the defensive. And good cheer. Nicely done. And a good play as well by Francescoli. The tackle was a strong one, mind you, from Eduardo Gomez. He's still there as well, and as always, Francescoli is quite ready to have a word with the referee, and I'm not surprised. It's all getting a bit scrappy down there. There were 7 bookings in the game between Chile and Colombia in their semi-final. Just calming things down, as any good official would. Until the game settles into any sort of rhythm or pattern, you can expect those sort of things to happen. And Gomez didn't get a good ball there. And that ball surely has gone out of play on the far side. In this quite magnificent stadium. One of the greatest sights in world sport, I always think, is at the start of a game in the River Plate with all the ticker tape. Good tackle. The Chileans have been making headlines here for their goal scoring. 3 against Venezuela, 4 against Brazil, and another couple against Colombia. But in fact, against Colombia, it was the defence which really took the eye. They didn't really create chances. The 2 goals they got were both down to bad defensive mistakes on Colombia's part. Oh, that's lovely football. Very well played indeed there by Sosa. Couldn't get it through to Alzamendi, but good skill. And Reyes with a very optimistic ball forward, which is why the crowd are whistling. But Don Howe, I suppose you appreciate as well as anyone the early moments of a cup final, always tense.
I mean, it's the old story. Everybody wants to get in control of the ball. Everybody wants to get on top. 1 or 2 players are a bit nervous. I think the referee's doing the right thing. He's just having a word with them early on, trying to get them to settle down without getting his book out. But I think he can only do that for so long. I think if there's any more that kind of pushing and shoving, that nastiness, then he's got to get his yellow cards out and quieten it down again.
Right, well, as I said, he's a very experienced man. He was one of the referees in the World Cup in Mexico last year. In fact, voted the best referee in Brazil. It's Contreras. I try not to make too many puns about Contreras to opinion and things like that. But I can tell you he's not a bad player, this fellow, Jorge Contreras. Typical South American though, loves the slow build-up and then tries to play the one incisive pass to get things ticking. And this will be the shot of all time if this one flies anywhere near. Oh, it wasn't a bad try, was it? That was Pizarro, and Pereira had to be alert. Long way out here, Pizarro, and he bent it a little bit. And Don Howe, that wasn't a bad try, was it?
Good free kick. I mean, he hit it with the outside of his right foot and bent it round the wall, round the inside of the wall, and Pereira come across. Really didn't gather it really well. It might have been the course of the shot.
Francescoli, lovely ball control once more, working his position. And oh, hello, that's going to be the first yellow card. And I think it is anyway. I'm sure he's reaching for a card there for the tackle on Francescoli. And Gomez is the player who's going to be booked. Well, the Chileans don't mind bookings. In their semi-final, Stengo was booked, and so was Mardones, and so was Letelier. And now it's Gomez who's had to spell his name to the referee. And as always, Enzo Francescoli is there. And a couple of Uruguayan interlopers in that Chilean wall. And Francescoli gets it high and wide and won't be at all happy with that. The posse of photographers go charging round the back of the goal, trying to size up where the next best angle may come from. And the Chilean captain and goalkeeper Roberto Rojas has a long kick. And Chile managing to gain possession. They've not seen a lot of the ball in midfield yet. Partly because of Francescoli there, who's worked it back to Gutierrez, and this is Dominguez. There are several Penarol players. This man, Alzamandi, of course, plays here in the River Plate Stadium for the Argentine club in the First Division. And the ball taken away there from Perdomo. Now, this chap is interesting. Basset. Good tackle, didn't allow him to be any more interesting. But we might get another chance here. And there is Basset battling for it. And a few choice words to him from Dominguez. That was a nasty tumble. But Puebla's up again. And the referee trying to keep things moving, which is a good sign. He lost control first of all and then gave away a free kick. Contreras having to work hard to retrieve that particular position. Now down on this left-hand touchline. Puebla loses out, and a nice little flick forward from Alzamandi. Didn't quite find Sosa, he was charging in behind him. And Chile just don't seem able to get their game together at the moment, as Letelier failed to work that ball right away. Oh dear, I'm sure Francescoli, it's not the first time he's dived down to the turf. Let's have another look at it here. Letelier, first of all, tried to slip a pass, and it wasn't a good one. The interception by Francescoli, and he just caught him on the back of the heel and then compounded the error. As always, plenty of free kicks. I think the message to the Chilean coach is fairly plain. Up on your seat. Hopelessly wide with that shot, Ruben Sosa, the man who plays for Zaragoza over in Spain. Well, in the early stages, Don Howe, the impression I have is that Uruguay have certainly got a grip of the game, and Chile are just finding it hard to get any sort of rhythm.
Yes, for some unknown reason they're trying to still play out of their own half, and all the Uruguayans have pushed into their half, and they're not getting out at all. I mean, they're losing the ball virtually in their own centre circle. Every movement they build up, the Chileans, they've lost the ball by the time they get to their own centre circle. I know it's a little bit against their nature, but perhaps if they played a longer ball, turn the Uruguayans round a little bit, it might help them.
Right, well, we'll see if anybody's listening. Here's Pizarro, the man who had that long free kick, which was the best effort of the game so far. This time it's Hector Puebla on the ground, and he also went off in the last game, but has proved his fitness. Free kick is taken by Contreras, and it's a little curly one inside the area, which will be eventually cleared by Saldano Pintos. That goal is guaranteed to produce whistling from the crowd, and there's a big crowd here. Good interception this time. Alzamendi. We've not seen much of him as yet. Really had a chance to show any of his great pace. And then Francescoli goes down, the linesman's there. And Gomez, the man who was booked a few moments ago, is certainly incurring the wrath of the referee here. He's already had a yellow card. Stengel goes over to have a word with the referee as well. And Gomez is walking a tightrope here, Don Howe.
I mean, Francescoli, a terrific example of a little give and go there, and he's got control on that right wing. And I can't understand, the defender's got him. For some unknown reason, he goes diving in, and plus it's like a big side, that left foot as it came round. This time the referee, I mean, he's got to try and put those things out.
And Gomez, in a way, is lucky to stay on the field, having made a challenge only 2 or 3 minutes before. In fact, it looks as though he's off, doesn't it? It looks as though Gomez is off. Well, I was saying he was lucky to stay on. In fact, the referee has decided to send Gomez off. Your thoughts on that, Don?
Well, you know, if a referee's going to do his job, he's got to... He can only warn a player once. And Gomez is putting about two fully tackles. I mean, vicious tackles. And I mean, the game's not very old as it is. And I think the referee's warned him. And now he's done it again. He said, right, that's enough, off you go. The referee has to do those things if he's going to stop it.
15 minutes, that's all we've had. But Chile now, well, they've caused the problem for themselves. It's bad enough facing a team like Uruguay with 11 men, let alone 10. That header from Alzamendi wouldn't have counted, by the way. And just look at the interest in this game. All these countries watching this game live on television. Yes, even in Abu Dhabi. So what a sad end for Gomez, but you know, Don Howe said he has asked for it, and it looks as though the Chilean coach is thinking of making a substitution. It's obviously a reorganisational plan that he's got, because that is Ricardo Toro, the anchor man in midfield, and it might now be his job to mark Francescoli. Well, we'll see how that affects Chile. They certainly won't be encouraged. And surely it should encourage Uruguay. Play on, and now Chile with 4 or 5 men forward, or they would have been offside if Letelier had got that ball through. And now the break at the other end. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That is diabolical. And Francescoli taken out of the game by Astengo. And this was a really awful challenge. Francescoli just nicking it past him, and Don Howe, I don't know what to say about that. I can only say I'm glad I wasn't the player involved.
Well, the defender, for some unknown reason, he decided he had to go and face up to Francescoli, and really he could have stood there and waited for him, because he got the ball, he was bringing it through. He decides to go, and when Francescoli goes to his right, he's beaten, with his right foot, he comes around and chops him down. I mean, they are diabolical tackles. I mean, the referee who's doing his job can only just send people off.
That's right. Well, it's a volatile occasion, is this, obviously. The Chilean coach is, as I suspected, going to bring Toro on. I wonder how long Francescoli can survive all this stick, though.
We've said it before, I mean, these great players, I mean, they're not only skillful, but I'll tell you what, they're as brave as can be, because match after match they get chopped down. Maradona's the same when he plays. And it's in our interest, and the referee's doing his right job by protecting them, because it's the people come to watch those players. They want to see those top skills.
And isn't it sad that Francescoli is going off on a stretcher at the moment? The Chileans are trying to bring Puebla off to get Toro on and to reorganise the ranks. You know, Don Howe, it's a controversial point this, but it does annoy me. At tennis recently, people were saying how well behaved some of the players were, when in fact they were arguing about a simple line call, a ball just going out of play. And here is a man who is sided down physically, and yet football gets a bad name sometimes, doesn't it? And he'd have every right to complain there, Francescoli.
Well, I mean, we saw it against Argentina. Virtually every time he got the ball, he was stopped. He was chopped down. They give a foul away. You know, they look as if that's the only way of stopping them. And to be honest, I mean, with the greatest respect to their football and our football, I think we are above doing those things. We do try and cope with ability by trying to play against it and cope with it tactically and cope with it with a good player's marking.
I have to say, Mark, that there's a touch of irony about this situation because Uruguay, of course, managed to perpetrate one or two dastardly deeds in Mexico last year. Francescoli hobbles back. A Scotland well remember, of course. And Uruguay actually had a player sent off in the very first minute against them in Nezahualcóyotl. So we've had 20 minutes, we haven't had a goal, but we've had a sending off and a booking. All on the Chilean side. And who'd be a referee in South America? The referee is also, by the way, an estate agent and runs a furniture business. I think he must have a much quieter life there. He goes out on the football pitch. But let's just hope that things calm down out there and we get some quality football because both sides are capable of playing it. And that is the most annoying thing about this game in South America. Appeals for a penalty from Letelier, who claims he was pushed. Unlikely to get much sympathy for that as Uruguay come forward once more. With a body check by Reis, which again took the player out of the game. But Francescoli's back up and muddied and running, brilliantly running and just taking it too far. Reis gave him a little nudge there, otherwise he might just have got there. So Francescoli battered but certainly not beaten. People used to talk about Italian football being tough, but believe you and me, it can't be much tougher than in South America. Rojas just managed to get the ball onto the head of Basset. Again, as Don Howe was saying earlier, the Chileans seem unable to keep possession for very long around the centre circle area. They have got a free kick this time for themselves. And they'll have to come back, much as Reis would like to go raiding down that right touchline. And sensible tactics, slowing things down, allowing one or two people to come up in support now, and he plays it square. Wretched pass again. The player no chance at all of that. Now Uruguayan captain Perdomo loses it in a dangerous area, but again a poor ball from Letelier to Contreras. So Pereira is able to clear his lines. And a little flick on looking for Alzamendi. And there was a little bit of hesitancy in the Chilean defence there, as a result of which they conceded a throw in. They don't only have to be aware of Alzamendi, they have to watch Sosa striking and Francescoli as Alzamendi takes his throw. Back for Dominguez, who's coming to this side in place of Diogo, who is one of Uruguay's better World Cup players. And again, they're coming forward in numbers, and Uruguay no doubt encouraged by the fact that the opposition has been reduced. Really would be seen as a great triumph if a nation of only 3 million people could land at the America Cup for the second consecutive time, and the 9th time in all. And it would also be, of course, a tremendous start to his managerial career for the Uruguayan coach Roberto Fleitas, who took over from Umar Boras immediately after the World Cup. Good interception this time by Pizarro, and a good long ball played as well. Now Letelier outside the area, and he's got past one. Don't think he'll get past the second though, and he's been forced and penned into that corner. And coming a long way back, Juan Carlos Letelier there from the Cobreloa club. So Luis Almazabal comes up to take the throw. We'll get the ball back here as well. Tries to work it onto that left foot and slices it across the edge of the Uruguayan penalty area. Away once more. Now here's Estengo, roundly booed by a few members of the crowd for that dreadful challenge a few moments ago. Now, oh dear, right off the toe end at the vital moment from Reyes. And we're going to have to come all the way back. Interesting that of the Uruguayan World Cup squad from only a year ago, there are only 3 survivors. So sweeping changes made. Alzamendi here though is just one of those 3, and now he's brought down by Almazabal. He was brought. Hello, is this going to be another red card? It is. It's another red card. The Chileans are going to be down to 9 men. Well, I'd love to be able to tell you who he's sent off, but it was something that was said here. Almazabal made the challenge for a start on Alzamendi, but then a second man comes in. Now there's the challenge from Almazabal. Oh, dearie me, it's the substitute, Ricardo Toro. So he's only been on the field a matter of 7 minutes, and Ricardo Toro, for a quite appalling kick in Alzamendi's stomach, well, it's Francescoli. Well, Don Howe, I don't know, I'm baffled by that.
I don't know whether he's involved, unless something off the balls happened, John, because Alzamendi is going through, he gets hit by one player, and as he's falling, the second player comes in, and I've got a feeling he was going to hit the ball, because the ball was there, and as he kicks into the ball goes into the falling Alzamendi into his stomach. Francescoli must have done something, he must have gone across and hit somebody, he must have done something off the ball that we didn't see.
Difficult to tell from the pictures we'd got there, because the initial reaction was that it had to be a defender for the challenge on Francescoli. Never actually saw him doing anything, although the referee was surrounded immediately by Uruguayans. So now we're down to 10 side apiece, but Uruguay have got the free kick, which Ruben Sosa cracks straight into the wall. It's so sad, is this, for the name of football. That will be yet another free kick, and tempers now have really gone. Bengochea was the player brought down that time, and for the game to be robbed of somebody of the talent of Francescoli, the lips are going 10 to the dozen there, is really sad for the game. Oh, well saved by the goalkeeper. It nearly took him by surprise and saved the second time, but the whistle's gone again. It's gone quite crazy out there. Well, this game has degenerated rapidly from a not very good start anyway, I suppose. And I must say, I don't think I've ever done a commentary on a South American match where there hasn't been somebody sent off, but to have 2 off in the first 25 minutes is setting new standards, and bad ones at that. The referee really is working overtime here, and I have a funny feeling the dismissals might not end at 2 the way things are going. Hello, somebody's trodden on his foot now. Who would be a referee in South America? Bengochea tries again, and he can't get it right this time. Well, Don Howe, I've got to bring you in on this. As I was saying, South American football always seems to produce dismissals, and you really wouldn't want to be a referee in this atmosphere, would you?
It just seems to get out of control, John, and the harder the referee tries, the more they get at him, and they keep chatting at him, and they keep going to him, you know. And I suppose that they're trying to get all of it, but the players seem to, you know, it's the Latin emotions or whatever it is. but it is at the moment virtually out of control.
Yes, it's certainly down to temperament, and it badly needs somebody to keep their head out there. Maybe a goal would settle things down a bit. And there's another player rolling over in agony. Letelier. Get a bit of an elbow in the mouth, I think. I don't think it was unintentional either. Here's Alzamendi, one of the cooler players out there. And nicely done as well by the captain, Domo. And again it's all broken down, and with 15 minutes of the first half left, and it's now 10 aside. And that's a bad challenge once more, so Alzamendi's run is unnecessary. And I think it's at this point I should remind you that if the score is still level, the scores are level at the end of 90 minutes, we'll have another 30 of extra time. We could also have penalties here. So it's a free kick for Uruguay, and that's not the first time I've said that tonight. Flicked through by Bengochea. Now the shot, way off the target, but at least a bit of football to talk about for a change. It was a nicely worked free kick, just the end product that was unsatisfactory. Another free kick. I'm bound to say, on reflection, that Francescoli's sending off is a little bit similar to the time when Diego Maradona got sent off in the World Cup in Spain in 1982, purely because he'd been brought down so many times he couldn't stop retaliating. He did so once too often. Alzamendi off the mark. But it's the point, Don, how we were talking about, wasn't it? Just how much can a striker take before he loses his cool?
Yes, that's right. I mean, time and time again, you know, I mean, we expect them to pick themselves up and brush themselves down and take no notice. But you know, when somebody's hitting you and hitting you and hitting, it's virtually just human to retaliate, perhaps just once. And at that time, referee sees it, the player's off. It's a very difficult thing for a very skillful player.
It certainly is. You've got to be a saint almost not to want to retaliate. Bobby Charlton was probably the outstanding example, but I don't think even he probably had some of this man-to-man marking that goes on nowadays to withstand. More heated words being exchanged. Dominguez and Letelier. And there's another body check. Well, it's just becoming a procession of free kicks, is this? There was no attempt to play the ball on Mardonis there, Don.
Yeah. John, I think half the time they're not good tacklers really. They're hard, they're going hard, but really half the time they're not good tacklers. They don't time it right, they're going with 2 feet, they're off the floor. I mean, half the time, half these tackles that are going on, we'd be, back home we would be kind of taking them out of afternoons, teaching them how to tackle properly.
Yes. The priority is just to stop the other team playing, apparently. So, here come Uruguay once more. And we're just praying for a little bit of football here, really, because they can play when they go forward. That's when they're at the most exciting, these chaps. Now Contreras for Chile. And so that is a good piece of defending. He stretched, did Gutierrez. Just nicked the ball away from Letelier and takes the throw. Picked up here by Donis. Poor ball in, but ricocheted away from the Chilean midfield player Mardonis. And there has been so little semblance of genuine football here. It's got to be said it's a disappointing final so far, but we've got the excitement to come, I'm sure. As Pereira makes a good, safe and easy catch. I said a few minutes ago, a goal might well change the entire atmosphere, the complexion of the game. It's a poor ball there from Dominguez. And Letelier set things in motion. And tries to get onto that return ball from Mardones. This time the referee has no sympathy whatsoever with Letelier. The challenge from Tresante is a good one according to Senor Filio. Oh, dearie me. Well, I think he was so far away from it, the referee, to be honest, and couldn't see from the position he was in. I think almost, you know, the referee's got so fed up of blowing his whistle, he's going to let the odd free kick go. Can't blow for everything, otherwise the game would just never get moving. It's certainly not a flowing game of football at the moment. Neither goalkeeper has as yet really had to make a save. Well, perhaps just the one from the free kick taken by Pizarro, which Pereira had to parry. Crowd here in the River Plate Stadium, they're used to seeing this sort of thing, of course. Nothing new to them. Strange when people used to talk about nobody ever getting sent off at Wembley, and there was such a fuss, of course, about Kevin Moran of Manchester United when he was sent off in the cup final against Everton. In the River Plate Stadium, it's a miracle if nobody is sent off in a match. Now Pizarro, who can play, he's quite a skillful player, Pizarro. Just looped his pass out to Oscar Reyes. It's a free kick for Chile here. Well, the crowd, that's Valderrama, the fellow with the blonde hair, by the way, the star of the Colombian side in their game against Chile in the semi-final. Very unlucky really to be on the losing side. I hardly need to tell you that it's a free kick. Basai, this time it's his turn to roll around. And the ball's drifted beyond Elzamendi, and the full-back and the substitute Toro had a real opportunity there. It fell on his left foot, and I think he was taken unawares really. Don Howe, he looks surprised to me to get the chance here.
Yeah, it's a defender's shot at goal, John. He's got it well on that back post, and he's got a little bit of time. In fact, he could have got it down because the last defender had misjudged it and was a little bit slack. If he had quick control, I think if he'd been a forward, he'd have brought it down and perhaps done a lot better with it.
Right, well, it's still Uruguay 0, Chile 0 in the River Plate Stadium. And even as early as this, we must be thinking that the game could go to a penalty shootout, because there's been very little sign of anybody working an opening. Elzamendi is the one player undoubtedly on the pitch who's capable of a good strike at goal, given the chance. There he is, just having his feet taken away from him as he clipped the ball forward. And the crowd looking suitably unimpressed at the moment. Two fellas there just left the ball behind, but Dominguez sees the funny side of it. And the long ball there, here's Sosa inside the area, turns inside his man, but poor pass played by Sosa. And that's another free kick. I wish I knew how many we had, but it must be about 3 or 4 a minute, I would think. That was a good try, the best we've had so far from Matosas. Gustavo Matosas. The free kick was taken quickly here to create a little bit of space, and Matosas, whose father used to play for Peñarol in Uruguay, the club he now plays for, gets it just too high. goal kick going straight to Pintos, and a good run as well down this left-hand touchline, but a dangerous place for him to lose the ball. And nice skills there. That was better from Letelier. And Pizarro helping him. This is Letelier again. Trying to get past Gutierrez. Can't do so, but inside the area now once more is Pizarro. And Pizarro, in fact, has had the two best strikes of the game. Once from a free kick, and here from the pass by Letelier, he gets inside the penalty area, and that's a good try, Don Howard.
He made a good run off the ball there. That little run through the inside left spot to get him under the through pass. Pity he shot from that angle. If he'd have pulled it across the face of the 6-yard box, John, you'll see a Chilean player could have gotten the end of it.
Just nice to see some football. Now Bengochea. Gutierrez. And that's a lovely ball played through there by Perdomo, but Alzamendi has pushed his opponent in the back. He wasn't quite going to get there. And this time, the umpteenth free kick goes to Chile. Well, it would mean so much to the people back in the shadow of the Andes if Chile could become the America champions. A bit of battling in midfield there, and Pizarro's got a knock in the mouth, so he'll carry on all right. As Bengochea moves forward, drills his shot in off the mark. Well, Bengochea only 19. I reckon he'll be the next Uruguayan export. Indeed, all Uruguayan players, once they've made the mark, have to leave their country simply to raise money for their teams. And so it's the Wanderers club who'll be hoping to profit from the talents of Bengochea. The free kick. This time it's gone the way of Chile. These two players tussle for the right to have possession of the ball. Bengochea's got plenty to say for himself at the moment. And he sees the funny side of things as well now. There seems to be a bit better mood out there all of a sudden. And that can change. Raise, that's going to be too long. And Soldano Pintos down the line trying to find Alzamendi, who's bundled off the ball. Well, Alzamendi, he's used to it. We've only a couple of minutes to go to half-time as Gutierrez tries to get something moving here for the Uruguayans. They've lost the possession once more, and Chile will cross the halfway line, down that right-hand touchline. Good tackle. And Gutierrez again it is, who gets the ball away. For Mathabal, touching it inside, Contreras, now Pizarro, still Pizarro. Good ball, Contreras again, has his legs taken away from him by Perdomo. But at least Donhow, the sting seems to have gone out of it a little bit so far as the nastiness was concerned.
Yeah, well, I suppose, you know, we're coming towards the end of the first half, and I would think one or two of them are getting a bit punchy, John. You know, I mean, there just come a time where you've had so much of it, you can't do it anymore.
It's a good word for it.
Perhaps we might have some better football now.
Yes, that's. I'm sure we're all fervently hoping for that. Well, we've seen the Chileans strike their free kicks from long distance. Here's Pizarro again, but this time he's just hoisted it forward, edge of the area. And several Chileans still up there if they can just work the ball through. But again, it's the light blue of Uruguay which comes away with it, gives it away though. And still Contreras is there. Now Pizarro. So a reminder that Chile had a player sent off in Gomez. Uruguay then within 7 or 8 minutes lost Francescoli, also dismissed. So it's 10-a-side football. We expected a lot of free kicks, but certainly been not very pretty to watch. And as the half-time whistle can't be far away, well, there must be some injury time. Uruguay line up a free kick. And the shot was from Perdomo, and the save an easy one for Rojas. Perdomo hitting it hard and low, and interesting, it got through the wall. The player seemed to lift his foot almost, and I would think that Senor Filio is only too happy to blow that whistle. It's half-time here in the River Plate Stadium. It's not really been a very satisfying first 45 minutes. All the incident to talk about came through ugliness rather than through football, with Chile first of all losing Gomez sent off for a challenge on Francescoli, and then the star Uruguayan captain, centre forward Francescoli, losing his cool after another double tackle on him and getting sent off for an incident off the ball. So both sides down to 10 men. We can only hope for better in the second half, and can be much better than the first half, and the sides do concentrate on their soccer, which they can play so well, and forget and cut out the physical stuff. Away we go then. 45 minutes left, and who knows, perhaps another 30 minutes and even penalties after that. So Uruguay, for any new viewers, are in the light blue strip, Chile in red, and both sides down to 10 men, with Chile first of all having Gomez sent off for a second bookable offence, and then Uruguay losing their most influential player Francescoli, and straight away Uruguay have got a man, Ruben Sosa, up there inside the penalty area. But good covering by the Chilean defence. They do defend well in numbers, and they work well together as a team. Wasn't too good a pass, however, and Perdomo inside the area, bundled off it by Reyes, but fairly so. And that was just a quick shot of the Uruguayan coach Roberto Fleitas, 52 years of age, in his first year as the coach of the Uruguayan national side. Very much a surprise choice, but the Uruguayans were so disillusioned by what happened to them out in Mexico. They were really cast as the villains of the piece out there. And then of course went out in Puebla, losing to Argentina by 1-0. Well, they got their revenge on Argentina the other night with that goal from Antonio Alzamendi. But they're finding Chile a very tough nut to crack here. I wouldn't have said that if they'd been playing Brazil, by the way. Reyes turning the ball in field. That was the substitute Toro, who just flicked it on. Contreras here. Oh, nice. That showed the bit of skills that the Uruguayans do possess, even though the ball didn't find the mark. Now a chance for Perdomo, who's come a lot more into this game, funnily enough, since it's settled a little, and he's got a free kick as well. Toro bundling him over. Mathabal wants the ball off Alzamendi, who, needless to say, won't give him it. Well, we saw in the first half how Pizarro was quite happy to take shots from this sort of distance. Rojas, Chile's player of the year last year, lines up his wall. We'll see whether the Uruguayans prefer a strike or to try one of their set-piece moves. In fact, it's a good save, and the ball went behind the line, I thought there, but the strike from Bengochea was a good one. The linesman didn't think the ball went behind the line, and so Rojas has saved his country. We can have another look at it. Bengochea is usually involved at the free kicks. And right-footed here, it's a good curling free kick, that one. I think Don Howard was probably just going wide, but the keeper had to be sure.
Yeah, he got across. It's interesting that they did a split wall there. I mean, that's a tactic that we used to do a long time ago. And when I was playing football, if we had a wall kind of centre goal, you know, we played virtually had two walls. There's the wall split so the goalkeeper could see the ball. Interesting tactics, but he got across well. Yeah, it'd been interesting if the free kick had been a bit closer to goal that he could have got there.
Certainly would. But at least we saw a bit of good football there. Nice to be able to talk about that. And I can honestly say, I think we've had only one free kick in the second half so far. And we've had 3 minutes football, so things are looking up. Who knows, we might even get a goal. As Gutierrez pumps that ball forward and it's cut out by Astengo, one of the players who's already been booked. So he's going to have to be careful. When you think of it, Astengo was only booked for a quite horrendous challenge on Francescoli, who then got sent off. And somewhere along the line things weren't quite right there. This is Saldano Pintos. And here's Perdomo once more. Nicely done out there by Matosas, but he's run into a whole lot of bother since. It's the free kick. And so Uruguay then get another chance to put that ball inside the Chilean penalty area. And again, Bengochea, who's involved now at all the set plays, takes a free kick, which I must admit baffles me a little bit. Must have been an offside as he took it. I guess it's a free kick to Chile. And again, a list of all those countries vastly interested in the destiny of the America Cup. Argentina have won this competition on 10 occasions, Uruguay on 8 occasions, and the two players there getting knocks were Contreras and Matosas. But there was nothing really malicious in what happened there, just a bit of physical contact. Contreras is complaining, mind you, but he's got a few studs rather high on his left leg. But at least the heat has gone out of the game a little. I would imagine he'll have laryngitis with this referee after this game. Saro leaving it for Contreras. Now Reyes. Toro humping that ball forward. Easily away again though. Toro again though. Now Reyes slips it inside. Couldn't continue his run because he was taken out of the game by Pintos. And the referee saw all that. And so Chile have another free kick. And they're so happy just to play cat and mouse and just knock the ball around, trying to prise the other side open. Wait for the one little slip. It can be so fatal. Contreras, poor ball inside the area though, but Letelier made something of that. He was very quick there, Letelier, to take the ball away from the defender as it came off his chest. And we'll just see what happens here, and then I'll ask Don Howe his opinion of players like Letelier and Pizarro, who at least are trying to play football in this Chilean side and causing a few problems. But let's just see what happens here. With the throw-in from Reyes. Useful long one as well. But looks as though they've survived that little escapade. And indeed so. Don Howe, your comments on Letelier in particular, who seems to be able to pull defenders away with him from time to time.
I like him very much. He's very mobile. He's like a Peter Beardsley, John. He's moving, goes out to the flanks. If a defender gave, he's quick to go and take it off a defender. The only thing about him, he's on the ball now, is that he plays without pads, you know, in a game like this.
Yes.
Don't know how he gets away with it.
Especially in South America.
Yeah.
And the other player, Don, who's caught my eye is Pizarro. He takes up good forward positions.
Yes, he's a sharp little player, makes little runs from midfield, gets forward, supports Letelier quite well.
My goodness, he needs support up there. This is Mardones. Well cut out by Pintos. But plenty of time to think where he's going to play this ball, and would you believe it, he probably had too much time. It was a quite horrible pass. Herrera must be glad of a touch of that ball, I would think. He certainly hasn't had to make any particular saves. And that didn't work out for Alzamendi. Seems to have been infected like the rest of them. Lost his touch for the moment. But Alzamendi, the sort of player you can't rest about for a moment or two, because he's always liable to punish you. So Chile 0, Uruguay 0. Rays for Chile. Good ball inside the area. Is Letelier. Tried to squeeze it in the near post. Again, it might have been interesting if he'd pulled it back to see what support there was behind him. It was Rays with a good ball there inside the area to Letelier, who goes for the near post. And if he'd have cut that ball back, Don Howe, who knows?
Yeah, but he got free again. Little angle run there into the corner of the box. You know, I like him very much. Don't see him playing with the same zest as they played against the Argentinians. You know, we're not seeing so much of Sosa. We're not seeing very much of Alzamendi. Perdomo now, the fellow on the ball, the captain, he's got to do the creative job that Francescoli did. You see, he also looks a little bit tired.
Oh, and a mistake by Rojas there, just knocking that ball round for a corner, but the shot from Matosas really took him by surprise. But that's poor goalkeeping. He should have held on to that. So, a corner for Uruguay, taken by Sosa. As Don Howe was saying, we've seen very little of Ruben Sosa. There's the corner. And another shooting chance and a good save this time, and a goal! And it's the captain, Perdomo, who has given Uruguay the lead and sparked off these celebratory scenes. 1-0 it is. The goalkeeper no doubt unsettled by the fact that he'd really struggled to make the save a moment or two earlier from Matosas. The corner from Sosa there is headed out, and it's a very good strike on goal. The keeper can only smother it, and Perdomo says thanks very much. And that's why the stadium has gone potty here. Uruguay 1, Chile 0. And really now, Don Howe, with Uruguay in the driving seat, you've got to fancy them to hold on to the America Cup.
Yeah, there's no marking on the edge of the box there, John, and the fellow on the edge of the box who's sitting in the D, he's come in, he's got a free shot of goal through the crowd of players. The keeper doesn't see it late. You know, he makes a decent save at the end of it, and it comes away from him, and they're in and knocks it in the net.
And Don, what do you think about the Chilean tactics now? Because they're going to have to do something, aren't they?
Well, they are. I mean, they're going to have to support Letelier a lot quicker, that's for a fact.
The picture there of Bengochea was because it was his shot, I think, that was driven in first of all. But here come Uruguay again. They will be encouraged by that. South American sides are always at their most dangerous when they've just scored, because they are exuberant and seem to think they can take on the world then. Here's Perdomo. And fouled by Alzamendi. linesman indicating exactly what Alzamendi did. So the Chilean coach must wonder if a bit of glory is slipping away from him now. Orlando Aravena, who also coaches the Palestino club side, which lost the playoff for the Chilean Championship to Colo Colo, has only recently taken over the Chilean national side, and just like his opposite number in Uruguay, would be thrilled to bits, to say the least, to win the America Cup for his country for the first time. But at the moment it's Uruguay 1, Chile 0. So Pereira has to organise things. And Chile desperately want to get back equal as quickly as they can. Free kick taken, Mardones. It's away, not very far though. And the defender Astengo has stayed up. And the ball running rather unkindly out of play there. Senor Filio is over quickly. Mardones. Oh, good spotting and good chasing back there by the Uruguayan defender. But Pizarro now for Chile. Will try and lift his side again, but not with that sort of a pass. One of the players we've been talking about, who'd done so well up to that point, rather lets himself down there. And the Uruguayans, you can bet your last dollar, will be happy to slow things down now. As Bengochea plays it across, and then eventually it goes back to Pereira. That's a good kick, finding Rodriguez. Now Alzamendi. And the ricochet, I think, was from Alzamendi's left boot, and so that's going to be a throw-in for Chile. Yes, I thought there might be a question of a substitution before long. And the Chileans look as though they're preparing to bring Hugo Rubio on, and he is a striker. The ball worked across here to Pizarro. He gets a helping hand from Perdomo. Now Astengo. Nicely done by Gutierrez, and there could be something on here for the Uruguayans. They've got plenty of men up, and here's Alzamendi, who's brought crashing down, in fact, by Reyes. And Alzamendi, not for the first time in this game, feels his face on the turf. And there is the ball through, which caused the problem, and there's the tackle initially, but it didn't unsettle Alzamendi there, but that one certainly did, from Homathabal. Alzamendi, I'm sure, will be up and carrying about his business again any moment now. And it looks as though they're going to bring one substitute on for another, because the number 3 there signifies that Toro is the player who'll probably come off if Rubio comes on. And there he goes. So Toro, who came on immediately Gomez had been sent off, now goes off to be replaced by another substitute in Hugo Rubio. And the Chilean coach has played his cards. It means he can't bring any more substitutes on. Cracking free kick. It was way off the mark, mind you, from Sosa. And certainly let fly here, Don Howe.
Well, the thing about it, John, is that, and it's for us, something for us to learn. Although it's gone wide and handsome, they're not afraid to fail when they take their free kicks. I mean, they'll hit them kind of into the crowd, they'll hit them into the back of the stand, but next time they still do it. Sometimes our players back in this country, they have a go. You work hard in your training, they have a go, and because they get a little bit of kind of the crowd get at them and say, "Oh, what a free kick that was," they're frightened to have a go.
And
this
again,
is where we can learn a little bit. They keep having a go, time after time.
And again, there was the split wall. Interesting. Now Chile. With Rubio. And Rubio again, handling the ball just outside the area. So the free kick goes the way of Uruguay. But it's certainly been a better second half than it was the first half. That didn't take much doing, but let it be said that there has been more football in this second half, and Uruguay are a goal up. And Perdomo just takes a bit of a hack there at Contreras. So the free kick and the lecture is for the Uruguayan captain. But now Reyes for Chile. Wants to go underground with it by the look of him. And they will not give that ball away. And the free kick has actually gone against Reyes after all that, and he's now got to chase back and bring down Alzamendi. He wants another free kick, and the referee's got fed up of blowing the whistle, I think. We've 25 minutes left, and Chile a goal down, attack down the left with Basset. That's the first we've seen of Basset, and he's brought down only a foot or so outside the penalty area by Dominguez. Didn't seem to trouble Basset, that. He looks implacably at the man who did the damage. That's the first we've really seen of Ivo Basset, who scored 19 goals last season for his club, Magallanes. And there's a friendly arm, do you think? Not very friendly, I suspect. And a shooting chance, and the ball is knocked away. And that's the best that Chile have done in this second half, and they're still up there in numbers. But not a good finish this time, and again raises down, clutching that ankle. Referee's gone to inquire about his health. I'm okay, thank you. Well, Don Howe, a bit more encouragement for Chile there.
Yeah, I mean, the comment you made about that, the player Basset, I mean, he made a lovely run down that left side. He got hold of it, he got turned, and he went through two players. And if they hadn't brought him down, he would have created a good chance. Now, if he keeps doing things like that, they're going to open up this Argentinian defence. Well,
they've got another free kick as well, and that means the Uruguayans having to form a wall again. And again, it's on target. So, as you were saying a moment or two ago, they're not afraid to hit the target, as Contreras did there. Never shy any time. And that's a free kick now to Uruguay. Yet again the whistle, and he'll sleep well tonight, I think, this referee. And the Chileans can't make any more substitutions, they've already made two. But that doesn't stop the coach coming off his bench. I think he's trying to reorganise his ranks, really. There is one of the substitutes, Rubio. Not good judgment that time by Contreras. But Chile have won possession. And once more, good skill by Basay. He can't quite get past Dominguez. But all of a sudden, Basay, Donhow, is coming into the game. They're feeding the ball out to him a bit more.
That's right. All of a sudden, he's popping up on that left wing, and he is supposed to be. I know he's got a 7 on his shirt, but he is a left-sided player. All of a sudden, they're getting balls to him. He looks as though he might open something up for them.
Well, as we said in the first half, a goal has brought the game to life a bit here. Shin pads all over the place there. And it's not a bad ball forward for Alzamendi to chase, and he's nicked it away from the defender, but couldn't keep control. That's where Alzamendi is so dangerous. He times his runs superbly and almost got in and round and past the defender. Now Pizarro. And here again, Basay. Yes, and he's beaten him once more. He's got such good skill. He's lovely to watch on the ball, Basay. I actually wonder why on earth they didn't try and bring him more into the game earlier. And, that's what it's all about. Those are the medals which will go to the winning side in this 26th America Cup final. But at the moment, it's Uruguay 1, Chile 0. The man in your picture there, Perdomo, very much involved in the goal, as was Bengochea. A rather theatrical dive, but nonetheless, Bengochea, who the replay has confirmed was in fact the goal scorer, has won the free kick. Perdomo there has a word or two to say about things. Substitute in your picture there is Jose Peña, who came on in the closing minutes of Uruguay's game against Argentina. Bengochea cut out, well cut out as well by Astengo. Oh! Well, that's schoolboy goalkeeping really. He undoubtedly touched the ball. Donhow, it's not often you see that at this level.
Oh, well, that's the second time. I mean, he did it kind of about 5 minutes ago, a similar thing on the opposite side of the goal. I don't know whether he takes his eye off at the end of it. I mean, luckily he was wide of the goal there. That's
we'd have had a howler of all time, wouldn't we?
Exactly.
And of course it was Rojas in the first half who flapped it across and missed it completely. So he's having a rather unhappy spell, Roberto Rojas. Right, those two are playing tag. There's Bengochea's corner. It's away by Astengo. I think got a bit of a knock for his pains. Free kick Chile. Well, it was nowhere near there, but it's been taken there. So Pizarro from the Colo Colo club, who've just won the Chilean Championship. All the C's. And again this man, Basay. He's done him once more as well, and it's a pity it was a weak cross at the end of it, because Basay is now, Donhow, causing a lot of problems down that side to Dominguez.
Yes, they're starting to knock balls from midfield out to him on that left wing. He carries the ball with his right foot. I would think he's a right-footed player who plays out there, John, and I suppose, you know, he'll beat players by kind of working with his right foot, but when he comes to crossing at the end of it, as he did then, I wouldn't think his left foot's the quality to get a nice crossing. That would be the problem. But he has ability to go past players.
That's it in a nutshell, but the final pass is of course always the important one, and at the moment Chile don't appear to have anybody capable of delivering a clinical final pass, and now they've given the ball away. But, unable to capitalise on it that time, Mardones. Sosa, haven't seen much of Sosa. Disappointing game he's had. Alzamendi now finding Sosa, lovely little back heel as well. Bengochea He's still there, Bengochea, as well. But, the young man, just 19 years of age, will certainly be regarded as a hero in Uruguay tonight if that goal still separates the side at the end of 90 minutes. Good intervention by Dominguez, and then it's given away rather sloppily. Nelson Gutierrez in your picture there, one of those three survivors I was talking about in the first half from the World Cup finals in Mexico, along with Francescoli, who you're not seeing because he's been sent off, and Alzamendi. Otherwise, an entirely new squad of players. I suppose the other thing that must be regarded as a trump card in Uruguay's hands at the moment, the fact they haven't used a substitute as yet, whereas Chile have used both of theirs, so if the game did go into extra time, they've more pairs of fresh legs to bring on. But at the moment, it's the Uruguayans who lead. Alzamendi picking up Dominguez's throw. And he'll be content to waste as much time as possible and take a kick or two as well, probably, and then he manages to bring Pizarro down, and that's going to be a free kick for Chile. Don Howe, a word on Alzamendi. We've seen very little of him. He's not had much chance to show his paces tonight.
No, he hasn't played as well as he played against Argentina. I suppose it's, you know, the old story, the amount of games they've had to play in this competition has caught up with them. There's only 10 players in each team and they've all got more ground to cover. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago we were talking about our game and how it could change and how we'd get away from defensive football. And one or two people said, well, let's cut it down to 10 aside, there'll be more room on the pitch. Luckily we didn't, but when it does happen through players being sent off like this, it does create more space for players to run. But naturally they do get tired as well.
Yes, I know Dennis Smith, the York City manager, who's since gone to Sunderland, of course, is an advocate of 9-a-side football, in fact, you know, because he says that the game has become so tight now, short of either widening the goals or lengthening the pitch or something. The solution for attractive football would be to make it 9-a-side.
He's perhaps said that because at York City that's the only amount of players he had.
It's also a little ground there. Good tackle. Now Alzamendi. Can't get it inside though. We pay the compliment to Dominguez. And we've under quarter of an hour left with the scoreline still Uruguay 1, Chile 0. And it's hard to imagine where Chile are going to find a goal from unless that man out on the left touchline, Basset, can provide something with a little touch of magic. Again, the free kicks against Alzamendi, who's not having a happy time of it out here. Contreras, now Reyes, he wants to come up in support of the attack, but lost the ball immediately. Chile's won it back that time though. Poor ball from Mordones. And that's a better one from Bengochea. Sosa keeps going. Nicks it back inside as well. Once more it's Bengochea. Now Perdomo. And useful. Bengochea had a bit of time there and just tried to clip it over the goalkeeper, I think. He hesitated fractionally, but that was a nice little piece of play between Bengochea and Perdomo, Don. I'll ask Don Howe about that again in a moment. Just let's see what happens to this attack. Oh, and he's somehow extricated himself between those challenges and still inside the penalty here. Alzamendi, that's the best we've seen from him so far. Now Perdomo once more, and this is looking more promising. Well, the shot didn't match it. But Don Howe, some nice interplay there. Yes, they've brightened up this last 5 minutes, the Uruguayans. You know, they're starting to do little things around the box, little 1-2s and little individual skill to try and, you know, create the second goal.
I mean, to be honest, the only way a goal was going to come up till that point was off a dead ball situation, and that's how they scored from the corner.
So, again, he's got past Dominguez, and this time it's a better cross with his left foot, and the header from Reyes produces a save by Pereira at the near post, and that's almost the first save Pereira has had to make. But this time, Don, Bassey does manage to deliver a good left-footed cross.
Well, he stumbled through the tackle off the right back and got a terrific cross on the back post, and there were two players waiting for it. There was a defender put a challenge in, and I think the man who headed the ball was put off by that challenge.
Gutierrez showing all his experience and finding Elzamendi, and all of a sudden it's a much better game and a promise maybe of even another goal, because both sides are attacking much more effectively at the moment than they have been doing in the previous 80 minutes. And now Bengochea, and now they're trying to show off their skills as well, which is good to see. Pintos loses out. So this time Bassey's come deep. He's encouraged by success, I think, over the last few minutes. Typical of a winger, of course, that when things are going well he wants the ball. Earlier we'd hardly known he'd been playing. A good forward run there by Astengo, showing there is still optimism in the Chilean camp and ambition, and of course they're having to push men forward now. The danger being that if they give a glimmer of a chance to Elzamendi, he'll take it. Not this time, as Bengochea is offside. That's one for Rubio to chase. Still Argentina not made any substitutions, although in the background there, a couple of their players were just tottering up and down the touchline. Gutierrez from the River Plate club here in Buenos Aires takes the free kick for his country, Uruguay. Find Elzamendi that time, Sosa. So Bengochea, we've seen a lot of the ball in this second half. Just find Elzamendi. Now Pintos, and still Pintos, and he's going to cut the ball back from inside that area now, surely, but Elzamendi will be hustled out of it. But some rather sloppy defending there, almost creating a chance unwittingly. Don Howe, a word about Bengochea, only 19 years of age, but a very composed player.
Yes, he's played well, and he's got forward, and he's created things, and I would think Bengochea and perhaps Perdomo have been Uruguay's best two players. Elzamendi looks very tired. I mean, Bengochea just pulled in that ball back on the edge of the box there, and you thought, shoot or do something. And he got on the ball and he stood there, and they just closed him down and took him off it, took the ball away from him. The old story, match after match, every 2 or 3 days, you have to pay a toll for that.
I dread to think what Perdomo's saying there to the referee. The referee refused to give him a free kick a long time ago, and now players gone on, and Sosa is just outside the area, and Elzamendi's here, and Homathabal just getting a foot in time. Otherwise it would have been 2-0 and Chile would have been dead. Here comes Elzamendi, and there's Homathabal, and he really saved his country that time. Well, the whistle again had just gone before, so that would have been an interesting decision for the referee if the ball had ended up in the Chile net. Still repairs being carried out to one of the players just outside the area. It was Homathabal who put in that very good tackle on Elzamendi. Picks himself up, and again the players around the ball. Bengochea, who's nearest to it, Matosas, and it's Bengochea who drives it in, and came away from the head of one of the Chilean defenders. And so Bengochea, who seems to be involved with absolutely everything at the moment, wants to take the corner, decides eventually to leave it. And Sosa instead will come over and do his share of the work. And the Uruguayans now, of course, happy to waste as much time as possible, and Bengochea here again will do just that, but eventually lose it out. And now Basset has had to neglect his left wing role to come charging over this side, sets off, finds Letelier, but time definitely not on Chile's side here in the River Plate Stadium. Uruguay 1, Chile 0. And they'll surely want Basset. Well, he's not going to even get the ball and get the chance. But they do want Basset to run and create chances against the Uruguayans down that touchline, because that's the only area where the danger has come from. And a bit surprising, Letelier has not seen much of him for the last 10 or 15 minutes, having had a good start to the second half. Perhaps he's not had the service. Dominguez, throw to Alzamendi, and shows better control that time, but still lost out under the pressure from two Chilean defenders. And Gutierrez happy enough to lay that ball back for Pereira. Bengochea, huge ball forward. Didn't find the mark, and so Pizarro. 5 minutes left. That's all that separates Uruguay from a second successive victory in the America Cup. And Dominguez, a very determined stretch down that touchline. Pizarro wants to get on with things. The throw. Mr. Mardones. Useful ball out for Reyes. I don't think he's quite got the legs to get there ahead of Pintos. So Chile have never won this competition, and unless they're to break their duck, they're going to have to do something pretty sensational now, and that's not going to be the answer. And a belated substitution apparently about to be made. The whistle goes, which should, if Uruguay want to do, give them the opportunity to bring Jose Peña on. Here he is, roughly getting about the same amount of time that he did against Argentina, which is not very long. Still he's not on the pitch, so play continuing, and good ball played forward here for Bengochea, who's onside and drills it across that far side, and it was beyond Alzamendi. And a poor connection from Matosas. Peña is absolutely itching to get in there, and it'll be Alzamendi who comes off. And there he goes. So the end of the afternoon's work for Antonio Alzamendi, hero against Argentina. Now about to be replaced with only around 3 minutes left of the America Cup final. And Peña has been sent out, I'm sure, with explicit instructions to make sure that Chile do not get a breakthrough. They shall not pass will be his motto. This is Reyes. It's been a far, far better second half. Chileans willing now to run and try and get inside that area, and Rubio's here, and there is some danger obviously. The ball cleared by Dominguez, Chile now throwing everyone forward as Hamathabal plays the ball to Pizarro, who tries his luck from long range, and the keeper made a bit of a hash of that, and it was good for him that Dominguez was there. Don Howe, again, you know, you've got to admire Pizarro's shooting from that sort of range, and the goalkeeper not convincing.
I just wish we'd seen more of it, John. You know, because I don't think the two goalkeepers are very good at all. You know, I can't understand why, you know, the two coaches haven't been saying to the players, hey, let's get some shots in, don't worry about kind of walking it into the box. You know, kind of 25, 30 yards out, if you get a chance, get a shot in.
Certainly makes our English goalkeepers look good, doesn't it? And the game as a whole has made British football look good to me. But, however, it's Uruguay coming away. Now, if they can seal it with a second goal now, you'll hear an almighty roar in this River Plate Stadium. Peña playing the ball forward. Sosa, all the time in the world for him. Enzo Francescoli there. An unhappy day for him because he was sent off. But I suppose all that will be forgotten in the aftermath of victory. And it's a victory that is almost certainly on the cards now. Chile have got a free kick here. Francescoli doing any amount of interviews. He and Alzamendi there both come off. The referee ready with the whistle. And it's beginning to look as though the defending champions Uruguay are going to hang on to their America Cup. It'll be a 9th triumph for the country across the River Plate Stadium. It's not been the most picturesque of cup finals. There have been far too many stoppages for that. At least the referee there took the heat out of the situation with 2 sendings off in the first half. As you see, we've had the 45 minutes of this second half. It looks as though there'll be no extra time or penalties here, because Uruguay have got the one goal that matters. And that's a red card being produced. Well, this is dramatic. Even at the very end of the 90 minutes, what a time to get sent off. And again, I'm rather mystified, but it looks as though it's Astengo, the Chilean player of the year, again for a second bookable offence. So he becomes the 3rd player in the match sent off. Astengo, who committed a quite diabolical foul in the first half on Francescoli, was booked then and has now committed a second bookable offence and becomes the 3rd man sent off. Don Howe.
Yeah, what happened there, John, was that I don't think the referee saw it. He went across because the linesman got his attention, and he went across and consulted with the linesman, went across and sent Astengo off. As the old story, something's happened off the ball, I suppose. It's a fisticuffs, as usual.
What is unusual is that Perdomo there, I'm not too sure that he's not been sent off as well, you know. I think he has, he's obviously been sent off as well, so it's 4 off now. Well, it's a good job we're at the end of 90 minutes. Well, how ignominious for the captain of a country to be sent off in a cup final, and in the last minute as well, in fact in injury time. So Perdomo is off as well, and we're now down to 9 aside. Well, quite farcical really. As you said, Don, that was an off-the-ball incident which the linesman saw, which the referee didn't see, and now we've got another player down, Bengochea, and everybody surrounding the sent-off players on the touchline. Total mayhem and confusion in the River Plate Stadium. I ought to remind you that it's 1-0 to Uruguay. Francescoli and Alzamendi don't seem to know what's happening out there, if they can see above the posse of photographers, and I think everybody just wants that referee to blow the whistle now, really. 9 men aside, Uruguay leading 1-0, and that is it, and Uruguay have successfully defended the American Cup. They've beaten Chile by 1-0, a goal coming in the second half from 19-year-old Pablo Bengochea, And as you see, Uruguay are again the South American champions. Chile have failed at the last hurdle yet again. The 26th America Cup final settled by just one goal, but memorable unfortunately for the sendings off of 4 players, both sides ending with just 9 men.